Good morning, WTU. So I was just checking the clock. I wasn't quite sure what time of day it was. As I mentioned earlier, Simpa, he's popped in on his way over from... Where are you travelling from this
Portsmouth.
time? From Portsmouth. We met up yesterday at Basingstoke, actually, which was really nice to meet up there. I hadn't anticipated being there, which made it even better. I mean, I've got to say, for me, the first impressions of Basingstoke, never having been before, the first thing that struck me was the organisation. They had chaps with walkie-talkies, people monitoring the traffic coming in and out of the car parking areas, controlling the roads, and they had security just monitoring and basically circulating that everything was all right. I thought it was a really good touch. So for me, it inspired me. It makes me want to do one. So I've invited them to come to Know Your Roots, actually, to try and do a talk on how to make an event. But you could talk about that as well, without doubt.
I suppose, I've got a little bit of history putting on events. Currently in the middle of putting on one as well.
Let me just turn that round a bit so you're in it. There we go. What did you feel about yesterday?
I really enjoyed it. It was good that there was no police or council. I didn't feel any emphasis to work in that capacity, if you know what I mean. Yeah. To actually, every time I see police, I want to liaise with them and try and feel what they're like around the country to get a good flavour for how these events are going to evolve around the country. Yeah. It was beautiful weather, idyllic location, like a natural amphitheatre was great.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
People were really good. Yeah. Great number of stalls, good diversity. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I thought the same as well. Again, the amphitheatre was an old lime pit, from what I can gather.
Yeah.
It was perfect for the weather, the sound, and a nice range of stalls. Everyone was dead chilled as well. And I liked the way that there was no police there at all, and neither was there a need for any police to be there, really.
The one security team that were trained and accredited, so there would have been no need for an issue, you know.
Yeah.
There was actually a double murder, or two murders rather, in the area the night before.
Really?
So this is one of the reasons that there was no presence of police at the area, because they were actually dealing with real crime, criminals, you know what I mean, where police should be, frankly.
Wow, I had no idea about that. So while we had a lovely day in the sun, the night before there'd been a double murder.
Which I can pretty much 99.999% guarantee wasn't attached to cannabis in any which way, really.
They know that to try and pin it that way. That's really shocked me, that was actually, I've got to say, really shocked me.
Well, it's the same happening around the country until we utilise cannabis as a resource to revitalise our local economies. Yeah. You're going to see scarcity cause people to be in deprivation and to do.
And when you're in deprivation, you do things out of desperation. When you're desperate, you do anything to survive, I suppose. Do things you might never think of. Something that occurred to me yesterday with the stall holders, there were people trading there. It would be really good if every trader had put, let's say, 5% of their takings, if everyone put 5% of their takings, and that all went to a local homeless charity or another charitable cause in the area, so that the local area could be benefiting from the local CannaCommunity event. That struck me as a real nice way to try and, like you say, improve the area where we live, sort of thing.
I mean, it should be a thing that obviously money should be going from the events to the cannabis community to help them actually get clubs, to get their organisations, but they should then use those areas as a hub for the community. That's what I'm seeking to do with Durham, is obviously not just use it as a cannabis club. It is a location that houses a cannabis club, but the building the rest of the time is a hub for, it's an alternative community centre. It is an access hub for services that frankly have been decimated under austerity. So that's how we use cannabis to pay for these things.
Yeah.
So all these housing association, homeless groups, and the soup kitchens and all of that currently have no locations. You go, well, we'll give you a subsidised rented free area where we have a kitchen, a toilet, a warm safe space that you can come and utilise for a few hours each week. Yeah. So then you've got homeless, you can then deal with sexual health services, housing services, mental health services. All of these are the vitally needed things that are being decimated, frankly, at the minute. And
they have actually been removed. Community centres have pretty much gone from communities. Youth centres have gone from communities.
Youth centres have been
they have. Mental health and drug support centres have been removed.
They've been privatised.
Privatised,
if you've got money, you can get all the help in the world.
Well, that's true. It always comes down to money. Even my condition, if I had money, I would be able to manage my condition, improve my health, but I haven't, so I'm kind of trapped. But that's what I've thought as well. We need to make culture clubs and hubs, so it's great to hear you making those plans. And I could really see it working as well, where it's not just about a consumption room for the herb, but a cultural hub where everyone can counsel.
Community centre is the best term for it, because I mean, if you look at it, we're becoming less religious as a culture, but more spiritual in a lot of ways. And in that sense, it's about connection, it's about harmony, it's about community, it's about resonating with each other. So where we have good vibes, we tend to go back to.
Yeah.
So Basingstoke had that in Shovelfuls, you know what I mean? It was a really great day with people congregating from frankly all over the UK. Again, it's the way people bring, and then the diversity of people with physical ailments, mental ailments, people that are just enjoying the herb, people that are celebrating, and a lot of people that frankly were walking the path behind and just suddenly went, oh my god, what is this down there?
I did see a few of those.
And they came down and you could see them at the stalls, just their eyes lit up like kids in candy stores.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the paradox of, but it's illegal, but you people are doing this. And it's like, because we're doing nothing wrong.
Doing no harm. There was no harm. That was the beauty of yesterday. It was a family gathering, picnic. There were families there. I was there with my family. And it really had that real nice family vibe. It was like a car boot sale, but even friendlier.
Yeah.
You know, that to me it was very much like a car boot sale, but with a few little stalls, bits of music, bits of food, people chilling. You know, where was the harm?
There was none. And like you said, we've the vendors in the stalls and the people that came, they made money that they went home and they put food in their kids' bellies.
Yeah.
They put heating on.
Yeah.
They paid their bills.
Yeah.
We always forget this. The cannabis has to generate money because we need money to live in the current paradigm.
Yeah.
So, some people say that some things are overpriced, and maybe I agree. But if we provide a spectrum of access, so people that can afford the better can pay for the better, and that then helps whoever is then sort of utilising it, as long as it's within the community and not part of much larger gang and organisations that in a lot of ways we're starting to rub up against and cause friction to.
Yeah.
But I think the clubs are a way to allow the people that want to just grow their weed, sell their weed, as we were talking about with farmers markets earlier, about people having to non-cash trade. Yes. I've grown this, you've grown this. Let's have a look. I'll give you half of mine for about 3/4 of yours, because I think mine's better. You know?
Simpa arrived and he had his little pot of his and I got my little pot of mine. It's, have a little try of mine, have a little try of yours. And I talked with Simpa about if we were home brewers, we could home brew our preferred alcoholic beverage, and then we could get together in our clubs once a month or whatever, and we could bring out our connoisseur brews, and we could all swap and change and appreciate each other's brewing efforts. And that's what we seek for home cultivators, basically, is a CannaCultivators aficionados club or something where we could all meet up, bring our strains to the table, no cash involved, just swapsies, appreciations, pat on the back, or that's not very good, son. You know, that's what we want.
I think you'll end up with club cups. And then I've literally just had an epiphanous revelation that there's like a club cup championship.
Yeah, man.
So each of the clubs find the growers in their area, they enter, and then they enter in the clubs in that county. Then the counties have a county championship.
Yeah.
Then you have a national championship with Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland. Then you have a UK championship. I think that is a brilliant idea because you've got to pass the gates and the trials for that. I think that would work really well because it encourages good technique as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you could have category of chemical, organic. We could get. It's all right. We'll have to get you medicated before I go. Then we can then get good sponsors. That can good categories that can then use sponsors who can give us access to equipment to test.
Yes.
So we can go a full spectrum. We can test for molds, pesticides. You can test
yeah.
for certain residues of chemicals, and really incentivize quality production. You know, obviously I'm organic through and through. Some people still argue against it, but for me, if you're going to combust it, if you're going to consume it, it's.
I can tell when I've got herb that's not organic because it fizzles and crackles and pops.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was talking to me about probiotic growing, which was a new revelation for me, about using friendly bacteria to nourish the soil. You don't feed the plant, you just look after your soil.
Yeah,
and the
soil, roots draw the... Exactly, yeah.
The friendly mycelium bacteria, lactobacillus bacteria.
Living soil seems to be the future, because then it's microbes. You feed them microbes, you can use enzymes to break down the roots. So a lot of people, if you use a big enough base, so rather than using pots, build almost a trench. So instead of using 9 litres in a pot, use 900 litres in a pot. Wow. Obviously it's a bit difficult for the average clandestine grower to just quickly build up and quickly move.
But if someone could do this in their garden without the fear of...
Exactly, if you had good neighbours, I mean, community relations, the number of people I've seen with outdoor growers this year, and I've looked at the plants and the giant things, and I'm like, how are you getting away with this? And he goes, mate, he wants to go when it's done. And I think it's a brilliant thing. Open relations.
Bringing community together.
Exactly, yeah. Because I guarantee you, if he's not got an ailment, someone in his family does.
And this is the thing, cannabis is food to me as well as a herbal health remedy, but as well as a safe recreational drug, spiritual aid, creative aid.
Yeah.
nearly everyone knows someone that will need it or want it or has chosen it. So my back muscles are ripping because I'm twisting to talk. Yeah, should we swap? Can we swap places? I don't need to twist. Thanks, brother.
Now I'll get the good chair.
Yeah, man. Campaign corner. That's where it all happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what does all happen at the minute. Sorry, you keep talking for a minute while I just get past this. What's going on? I'll join in.
What else we discussed? Basingstoke.
What's coming up? Yeah.
Well,
let's talk about what's happened. Product Earth. We had Product Earth, didn't we?
Yeah, it was in an interesting event. It was over a hell of a lot of space. I felt that there was almost not too much space, but it would just. If we can stay there for a couple of years, we've got the space to grow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I felt it was a missed opportunity, because if it was more intimate, I think people would have been spending more time together. I heard from quite a few people in the Product Earth area that didn't go to the hydroponics area.
Yeah.
Because they
didn't quite know where it was.
Yeah.
It was, so the sign, I found that I didn't get out very much. Went out on the beach, thankfully, and it wasn't quite clear what was through where and whether you could go through there.
Yeah.
So a bit of signage and things like that.
Well, it's also the fact, I think some people felt that perhaps it's a different ticket. My ticket says Product Earth, that says the Hydroponic Expo.
Yeah, I see.
And I think there's also something to a couple of the people that I walked around the hydroponics area. I mean, I'm not the most comfortable in that world. I don't really know. I'm a grower. I've grown for quite a while now, and I know what I know. But these guys are experts in their field. They've been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
And some of the people I was walking around with felt quite intimidated by it, because they didn't quite know the culture. They didn't quite know how to sort of act or what questions to ask, and they didn't want to kind of be bombarded and made to feel like, I don't know what MPK is, I don't know what this is, I don't know what you mean by EC, what you mean by...
Didn't quite know how to approach the people, perhaps.
Yeah, whereas if we're in the same area...
Because you know I talk to everyone. I did go around the hydro grow bit very briefly, and I didn't actually talk to very many. And the only person I did talk to was a stallholder that caught my eye.
Yeah.
And because that person caught my eye and then took themselves from around the desk while I was moving forward towards me, that's what engaged in that communication. That was the only person I spoke to my whole time going through. Whereas the other stalls I found a bit more engaging. Why do you think they separated it? We had head, hydro, and...
so there's three technical areas with it. There was hemp, hydro... there was hydro, head, and hemp. With the three classifications. I'll put this down as a rumour then, because obviously I don't have full fact for it. I heard from somebody that I'm not going to reiterate the name of, a very well-known nutrients company who typically takes one of the largest pitches at these events, who was suspiciously absent, kind of forced there to be a separation. They felt uncomfortable because of the majority. Exactly, they didn't want to be associated with those dirty stoners, you druggies that use our nutrients to grow your dirty drug. They're happy to make all the profits from it, but of course, we grow tomatoes.
And they do grow tomatoes too.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. They can't then represent in the cannabis community and profit from it while then.
I've had that actually when I've written out to companies asking for sponsorship donations to support WTU campaign, and some of them have written back, "Oh, can't have anything to do with that plant." And literally have said that.
You've said the C word.
Wolf. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Can't have anything to do with that plant. And then others have come back saying, "Yeah, we will help you with the campaign because it's only righteous that we do." And I have noticed that between different companies. It's fear for their losing their own business, I presume, because of legislation.
Yeah, I mean, for example, because we're online, I'm not going to divulge the company. Most of you will know the company already that I work quite intimately with at the minute for some of our events. I've now picked up potentially another 3 hydroponic and nutrient companies that they can't use the S word. We can't say sponsor. Don't say sponsor. Yeah. But they're allowed to be associated to us. They can donate us certain things. They can even pay for certain services. But it's them, they're trying to tacitly figure out how to move into our world. They're starting to recognise the value and validity of our community. Yeah. For a long time they've profited off us, but now is the point they're seeing prohibition, it's inevitable that it's going to fail. Yeah. And they actually see that we're a better bet than frankly, some of the other organisations that are moving down the medical paradigm, because their companies won't be good enough for the medical paradigm. They're going to be like, no, we're going to create our own and do all our own, and it's going to be so expensive, so gentrified,
I've seen that already
locked out. So these guys are going, actually, let's back the home growers, let's back the clubs, let's back the social movement and the community that we have so long held prop up.
Gotcha. I think it's only right they do as well. Something squeaking there. It's only right they do because, like you said, they've profited from our criminality, as it were,
They're propped up by criminality. That's an accessory to crime if you want to get in a technical
That's why
term.
they won't have an association with some of those.
They don't want to be
But also, if they were to support reform, I mean, obviously the WTU campaign is in my mind because we're trying to make a legal challenge, and if we were successful in our challenge and had the law amended, then all of these businesses would flourish even more in my mind. And also for those that wished to home grow, which I still think will be a minority, like home brewers and home growers of any fruit and veg. I don't think the majority will ever do that.
When they can get access, they'll choose to buy it. But then once you can explain the economics of someone to them, so when they're going out and spending 10 on a gram, when you're talking closer to 40 quid an ounce, they start to get that. If obviously they're making enough money, they will value their time over money.
Exactly. So
but for us that have time and no money, it's a way to get money while utilising your time.
That's who WTU kind of fights for in a sense. You know, I'm the poor man on the ground. I can't afford to buy purchases. I can afford a bag of seeds and a bag of soil. I can do that. That's affordable and sustainable for me, which is why I fight for the right to grow for everyone and without any of these arbitrary categories. But I still acknowledge that the vast majority of people that have got the wealth or that haven't got the time or haven't got the commitment it takes to nurture your own plants will just go down to an off-licence or a licensed venue to purchase what they see.
I'm hoping we're going to start to see garden centres. Like we start seeing in Canada, garden centres just starting to sell cannabis plants.
Oh, that would be outstanding.
It belongs in the garden with everything else. With all great respect, I mean, we're quite environmentally conscious people. Very much. Home growing causes a lot of damage because of prohibition. Because of what we have to do. Once we can take it outside, and then if somebody breaks into your garden, steals your plant, you can bring the police. They'll go there and deal with them.
But I think that's also what the Home Office wouldn't want, is the extra burden of the police having to deal with those types of offences. But if everyone had the right...
we then wouldn't have police. It would then be a case of... we don't need to be policed if the community and the culture isn't sick. If there's no issue for us. Yes, the police are having serious problems. We've got them wasting time on arbitrary things like speeding and chasing up things that bring in coffers rather than things that actually
serious
help community.
Crimes,
The police actually, under austerity in this community, in this country, in the past sort of 10 to 15 years, have concentrated on one thing: the public's perception of crime, not the statistics of crime. That's irrelevant in a lot of ways. It doesn't matter how much paperwork you put in front of them. It's how they, but I still feel unsafe. I still feel this. So that's what the militarisation of the police has been about. The upscaling of, say, the policing on social media, where they're going, oh, we don't like that post. Whereas we should actually be moving towards a culture of going, well, why don't you like that? Let's discuss that. Let's debate this. Discourse is the single greatest thing we have as a culture and community. And I think that if then somebody steals your plant, it would then, if we create a better reality for it, where its availability is so abundant, it would almost be valueless.
That's what I was saying. I was at the CTA conference in the audience, and a farmer there was talking, how do we secure our property, how do we secure our crops? And I interjected by saying, you allow every individual the right to grow their own. And then like we have now with sweet corn and leeks and potatoes on the roadside crops, some people will stop and they will take a few
couple
bits.
Of corn, but it's never going to affect your margins.
Never affects the margins, because anyone can grow for themselves or go to a shop and buy for themselves. So those in true need will still go and pilfer a little bit at the edges. But by and large, no one needs to bother. And I believe the same could happen with cannabis. It's
interesting. So that's the route we go down. I'm not going to name the company because I was actually going to give them a shout out, but then I'm thinking I'm not being derisive of the technology, but it's discussing it. So it's a mechanism that is LiDAR and radar combined.
What's LiDAR? Sorry.
I can't remember. It uses a different...
Just describe it if you don't know what it means.
So it's basically just like radar, but it uses a different frequency to measure.
Oh, okay.
I think it uses light variances.
Okay, so it's measuring things.
So radar's sound. I think LiDAR is light. I think that's the difference between them. And various other mechanisms. So you put these little things around crops, big industrial crops, and it registers everything.
Yeah.
You can then, a modified version of the system means that you can check the plant's health. So you can work out grids, or that exact 2 plants in that grid needs water and needs nutrients, but it also protects from pests and criminals.
Wow.
So obviously we're moving that way technologically, but I agree, if we can then, rather than continuing the scarcity paradigm of capitalism that has crippled the majority of our culture for the centuries now, we should actually allow the people to utilise it.
And I mentioned this in a dialogue with someone on his Facebook, I think it was Mike Harlington from CTA. I was saying to him, we need to allow this equity now. We need to allow people, that I call them the unlicensed clandestine cannabis entrepreneurs, that have been providing former criminals. Yeah, they've been providing unlicensed cannabis for decades for the millions of cannabis consumers in the UK for medical or recreational purposes, whatever reason, adult use. At the moment now, if the market becomes legitimised and all these big corporations can suddenly come in and profit from it, all these people that have been doing it for all these decades, suddenly they're going to have nothing left to do, or they're going to be remained even more persecuted under like Prohibition 2.0, like in Canada, and they'll use the legalisation money to prosecute the unlicensed growers. To me, that's inequitable because that's their skill set.
That's the classist paradigm that underpins the entirety of Western
capitalism,
democracy that we call it. So this is one of the things Trev Coleman says. Cannabis is the ultimate capitalist resource. It's a capitalist resource with a socialist paradigm. So you can use it to create capital, and we're going to revolutionise the world, as you're seeing through areas in, say, Pueblo County in Colorado, where they're putting the majority of the young people through higher education for free.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it's got the potential of.
But at the same time, it's exactly doing that. It's putting young people through college for free. It's taking homeless people off the street. They're socialist ideals, but it's still using the capitalist paradigm. So in a way, it's a very unique resource, and if we can just crowbar it free from their greedy hands,
that's what it is,
we can give it to all of us. And that's why they're commodifying, in my opinion. Hemp and CBD is going over here while we make lots of money, but you THC people and you dirty cannabis people, go away. Go away.
Stoners. It's interesting, I find this whole hemp and cannabis paradigm most intriguing, because to me, what's the word, is it a misnomer? When one word outdoes the other, because hemp and cannabis is synonymous, it's the same plant. Hemp is low THC cannabis, and cannabis is high THC hemp. It's the easiest.
But there's still so much terrible education. Some people are like, well, no, hemp is male cannabis.
Right, so some people think hemp is male cannabis. Is that what some people think?
Some people really can't get their heads on. Some people think, it's a cousin of, so it's been...
Sorry, I'm just looking at you. Carry on. I wondered, here's us rabbiting away. Have we got any questions? Oh, crikey.
A few people come and gone.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming in. We haven't even acknowledged you, right? We've just got on here and just started rabbiting away.
Benson, he's got his quack. I'm not jealous of your quack, mate. I'm going to go home and dab a quack later.
I'm just scrolling through a few things here. Oh, someone put the stabbings there. Supporting smaller business rather than corporate. That would be the murders in Basingstoke.
There were stabbings?
Stoke Gazette.
Okay, then I retract my previous comment.
No, that was in Basingstoke.
They may actually be related to cannabis in the sense of drug dealing, not in the sense of somebody high on cannabis has gone on a rampage.
This is the problem again. That's the side effect of prohibition.
Exactly, the consequences of the law, not of
get Channel 4 on it. Come smoke with me. Laugh out loud. Come dine with me. Channel 4. I think I applied for them. I put a good pitch in to go over on there.
Likewise.
And I actually offered or invited to take my father-in-law with me, who joined us yesterday to the cannabis picnic in Basingstoke. Now
it was good, it's good to see the older generation monks.
This was the beauty of it. Well, I've got to say, they're not monks as such. They're my wife's parents.
Yes.
So they're Lou's parents, not mine. So they weren't
honorary monks.
Honorary monks, yeah. But it was nice because of prohibition and everything. They've always been against cannabis their entire lives. Mine and Lou's entire relationship.
They're against criminality, and cannabis is crime, so you don't need to be criminalised.
It's illegal, so therefore it's wrong.
You're a bad person if you engage with it.
That was actually. But since they've watched how cannabis has helped me and their daughter through her two trapped nerves and paralysations and everything, so they've actually seen the benefit of cannabis apart from the recreational aspect, and now they believe in freedom. And that was what was beautiful yesterday, because we didn't have to go to Basingstoke. We just invited them. We got a day together. Do you fancy this? And they were like, go on then. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah. And that was nice, because neither one of them used the herb, but now they're not against the people that choose to use it.
Did you have any interesting questions on the way home yesterday?
No, not at all. No, but we didn't travel entirely all together. So, but no, I think they seem to have had a real happy day together. It was a nice day.
Yes, it was great to see you. That's one of the things I really appreciate about these public events.
We shouldn't live in fear someone's writing there, and that's what I totally believe.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't.
If I was sat with you guys, I'd be sat there quiet, just trying to work out what most of the big words are. Sugar. That's good to know, actually. Thank you for that, Jez, because we take it for granted, actually, that everyone is on the same page in terms of words. which is why we should try and speak in layman's terms as much as possible.
I was speaking almost double terms, because I mean I use obviously certain words because they are very specific. They are the exact encapsulation of what it is I'm trying to say.
Let's now
then almost
start explaining the word
exactly,
as well.
Quite, yeah.
Because it's important to carry on everyone with us on our journey, not leave anyone behind, and comprehension, understanding, explaining the word I'm using there. Understanding is everything, isn't it?
Former teacher. It'd be quite easy for Phil to explain what most of these things are.
Former teacher. You don't ever stop teaching, it's just you change your classroom. My classroom isn't in a classroom with an educational building anymore, but I think I still teach constantly. So, product overview looked at, that was really good. We've got the NEC coming up in a few weeks. We've been invited to talk, Callie Blackwell also, so we're going to be forming a panel of three activists.
Three of us. I'm looking forward to that.
On the Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m, I believe it is, at NEC. I'm getting so confused now because there's been literally so many things.
We've been on weekend after weekend after weekend. Yeah. So this weekend, I think, is the first weekend of no, touch wood, major event.
You weren't meant to say that for jinxing
I've
yourself.
just jinxed it now. Busy weekend coming.
With regards to the NEC, I have been offered a 3x3 stall there for the WTU. From an opportunity point of view, I really feel we should take it. From a physical point of view, I'm thinking, my God, I just want to do my talk and go home and curl back up in a ball. So I'm looking for volunteers for that, really. I don't know if I don't know where you are, but if anyone fancied volunteering for the NEC to support the WTU stall, to do, I mean, the donkey work basically, because I can't do any of it, I'd be interested to hear from you, just to put that out there now. And then we've got Know Your Roots the week after NEC, isn't it? And you've postponed Durham.
Yes.
Do you want to have a quick moment to explain?
The ticket links and everything are now back up. We pushed it back an extra month following some very unexpected conversations with some potential sponsors and organisers at Product Earth. Thank you. So this has led to a larger scale of the event, meaning that I can do more with it, but it's meant that the time frame that I had to do it, doing as we were 2 days at the NEC, then I'm on site for a week at Know Your Roots, then I would have had 3 days at home to set up the event. I just frankly wouldn't have had the time. I'm effectively a one-man army until the day. I have two people help me with paperwork, Ali B and MKCSC, and Blunt Earth helps me, Zach, with my graphics. Other than that, it's the same with you, volunteers on the day help get through. So we've pushed it back to October 25th now. Both days are still the same, the times are still the same, everything is still the same except the date. It's now a Friday, so for more people we'll be able to get there. But yeah, it's going to be a really.
So it makes sense. The other day you mentioned that the date you had originally was because it was the cheapest one available on all the accommodations and everything, wasn't it? And then so it wasn't like a specific date you had in mind, just the best one available.
No, it was one that was good on their calendar. It's incurred, frankly, a bit more of a cost to us to shift the event, a bit of a burden for that, then. I'm moving that onto the sponsors, so that's not going on to the room packages. It's not going on to any of the speakers.
So no one else will feel that then.
Yeah, that's on my shoulders, and then frankly, between two of the sponsors that I picked up at the weekend, it's gone on their shoulders as soon as I get opportunity to unburden myself.
And that was the thing. You could have rushed ahead and done half of what you had in your vision, or you could delay it and fulfill more of your vision.
Yeah, we would have achieved what I was looking to achieve anyway. We were ready to go ahead. It would have come together. It would have been bloody difficult, frankly, but we'd have got it together. And it would have gone off without a hitch. I lost two of the speakers that I did initially want, which was kind of making me a bit Now I've managed to, if you saw my live stream the other day, we have managed to convince Callie. She's going to come back and speak.
Oh, good.
We've got Mike Barnes who's now confirmed to speak. I've now got two potential top cops. I want them to come and speak as well. So it's widened the speakers. It's allowed for more diversity in stalls because a lot of people couldn't make the Thursday but can make the Friday now. It's also allowed for the hemp area to be larger because of these sponsors. So there's going to be more education, more workshops, and it's a grander vision than I first encapsulated, than I first thought. So it'll be a much bigger event and much. Just
the delay makes sense in that case for what you'll be able to achieve by the end of it.
It does. I think the people will be surprised to what we can fit into an extra month of planning.
That's good. I mean, it's a good chance to explain to people because I know some people have been disappointed to have the postponement. So,
but I mean, tickets are all the same. You've got a week if you've already pre-booked on Skiddle and you can't make the new date, guys. You have 7 days that will give you full refund, including booking fees. They will have sent you an email link to this. The new link are live, and if you can make the new date and already bought a ticket, you don't need to do anything 7 days from now. it'll automatically transfer over. The September event will disappear. To kind of compensate, I guess would be the way of describing this, we've just released this morning 75 half-price early birds for the Autumn Expo. So you can get them, I think, $5.20 with booking fee included. So do check them out. Links are on the Durham page.
Excellent, thank you very much. Anything else for us to talk about today?
Busy all for your weeks. Trying to think. So what's gone down? We obviously is your
surveys are closed. The surveys are closed now. We had 689 submissions for the case studies in total.
I got mine in a bit late, but I got it in.
You got in. So I've got to plough through those now and try and find the 5 to go at the forefront of the challenge. The WTU solicitor is visiting my home tomorrow. He's going to have a few hours here with me tomorrow to fully consult, discuss everything that we need to go through and how to get this case built up together. Excuse me a second. Who knows, that could be him from London. I'll have to speak to them again.
I've got 5 minutes.
So I'm hoping tomorrow actually to go through the plan of how I'm going to get the case assembled that would be presented to the barrister. I'm hoping to get this, if I have my way, within the next 3 months. I want it in and finished. You know, that's what WT's always been about, is getting this case built into the barrister. So, you know, no more dragging feet. We've done everything we can. We've got everything that the barrister asked us to get, which was expert reports, expert evidence, and first-hand experiential evidence, which is what the case studies are all about. So it's going to be now a case of printing, compiling, getting it all together, and then submitting it to the barrister, and then hopefully moving forward against the Home Office, basically. So I'm about to disappear off grid, basically, because I'm going to have to put a lot of time and effort into putting all that together.
Busy lads, but at least you're not going to be on the road for a bit. Luke, if you email durhamcityccevents@gmail.com, I'll send you over the application form for the event.
The big shout out to Luke, actually, of South Coast Seed Bank. He's set out, he's made a discount code, so any WTU members that go to his website and use the WTU discount code, they get 10% discount on their purchase. And every month he donates £5 of the total purchases under that code to the WTU campaign. So he's actually helping the members, he's helping the campaign, and his business is helped as well. And that's the synergy WTU is always trying to create with any business affiliation.
Growth.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the same with Urbanistic as well. They have a discount code with us as well, which is WTU campaign. And I can't remember all the others off the top of my head right now because I can't remember everything. But yeah, I like the way these relationships are growing. So yeah, it's good to see Luke reaching out to you there for Durham event.
Nice.
Hey, Si, good to see you yesterday. Hope to see you all soon. I think we're probably done with rabbiting, have we?
Yeah,
I've got to move out of this chair, to be fair. So
I'll let you sign off then. It's been a pleasure, guys. Nice to have you be with the undersigned.
Speak to you all soon. Any questions, poke them below, and we'll get back to you soon. Keep well, folks. Lots of love. Take care.